Hello everyone, Cassia614 here, welcoming you to the fourth installment of the Life Abridged Countdown Finale. In this countdown, I will be counting down the top 40 series that put out material between June and November of 2009. This video will cover Series 25 through 21. Series 25. AsianManifesto's Hellsing Abridged, Episode 1 came out during this time. This series did suffer from several sound issues, some of which were actually sort of lampshaded in some of the text thrown in the video. That some of the parts it seemed to work out. It was a good sort of back and forth with the audience, and sometimes it just fell a little bit flat. And there were, in general, some sound issues in terms of Integra's voice being a little, just the tech being a little iffy in how it sounded. The disclaimers were also a bit long, and you can make if you can't fix it, feature it. If there are particular problems happening, you should make a point of it to make a joke out of it, as opposed to just mentioning it. It did fall a little flat, especially the one that wasn't at the beginning. There was one in the middle there as well. However, the characters were done pretty well. A lot of the visual editing came together really well, very, very snappy, and the flashback was very fun. It was a long one, but it was very fun, and the flashback within flashback all came together pretty well. So while there were some of those sound issues and some of the disclaimers in general not quite working, the content, especially in the middle, third there, the episode, was particularly good. Series 24. Wraith 10's Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Episodes 8 and 9 came out in this time. Episode 8 was in general okay, except for the duel. The duel was very, very funny. Just everything about it. The duels in Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows tend to be difficult to pull off because they can be long and plotting. This one really was not. There was plenty going on. It was all brought together in a very fast-paced, fun way. The cards that were played, they made good jokes about them. The Tuxedo Mask-looking character, the whole Sailor Moon tie-in with that, very effective. The rest of the episode was not as good as the duel part, but in general, the duel sort of stood out and made that episode, certainly. Episode 9 was not as strong as episode 8, but the security guard commercial, to be a security guard, was fun. And so in general it was, that there were episodes with standout bits. In episode 8 it happened to be a bigger, more involved part of the episode that was the standout bit, which is why episode 8 was a little better. Series 23. This is Sehanort's Geass twist. Episode 5, parts 1 and 2 of episode 5, came out during this time. The best part of this episode is the voice of Schneisel. Really, really fun. In general, just a great voice there. He ends part 2 of episode 5 just with a one-liner there thrown in, which was very fun. Just the end bit, Zero's Isle, was okay, but then it just capped off with Schneisel's voice there, which is just really, really hilarious, and just sold it. Very, very well done. There's a bit in the episode in general, it's strong. It's a little strange, not exactly my taste, but I can tell that, it is a strong episode throughout. But there's a bit about racism with Colin being racist, and some of the racist jokes don't quite land. I mean, they're not racist, but it's jokes about racism that don't quite land all the way. I'm not sure exactly what could be done with them, but they're okay. They don't quite land all the way. I have my notes written in a few places today. Let me just make sure I didn't lose any on this. Yes, episode 5, the Fujifox CEO. That plot line is being put together pretty well. That's difficult to do. There's a plot line in this episode about Zero wanting to take over television instead of other things, and it does work very well. Making up your own plot and putting that together can be difficult, and it's definitely landing pretty well, I think. So definitely kudos on that. That's not an easy thing to do. Series 22. This is funkymcfunk's Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, episode 23, parts 1 and 2, came out during this time. In general, in this show, Jaden is a very fun character. He really carries pretty much the entire show. Chaz and Bastion, though, also very well done. How the Chaz family drama, which is much of what this episode is about, is done pretty well. The voicing, very, very fun. Some of the other characters, though, just don't quite stack up. Cyrus, for one. But most of the other side characters, they at least get to be very over-the-top and silly. So it keeps the whole episode together, and Jaden being a very strong core of the show, is surrounded by these characters who do end up being very over-the-top and silly, so at least they're funny, although some of them are not as well voiced. Cyrus is a character I think happens to also be less funny, so it just wasn't really doing much for me. But Bastion and Chaz, very good, especially Bastion. I just like how his voice sounds. There is a joke in the beginning that is meta, that could go further. What would my show be like? Jaden makes a comment like, what would a show about my life be like? And there's definitely a lot of room to mine that, and the punchline didn't quite come after enough material to be as powerful, I feel, as it could have been. So that is funkymcfunk. And now for the final show. Show number 21, this is tehExorcist, d.Grayman. A very short but very good episode 6 came out during this time. It was under 3 minutes long, but it was hilarious. The very intro and the very end are a little weaker, but as soon as the intro song ends, it is just off the ground with this introduction of a new character, Lena Lee, which is epic. It is some of the fast-paced stuff that came out in the 6 months. I mean, just rapid fire, which is what you need for this kind of comedy. Just all the voicing is spot on, the delivery is spot on, lightning fast, and in general, really, really fantastic. Introducing this character, just the characterization, the development, the jokes, the spazziness of the characters, this is the type of comedy that they're going for, so that was exactly right, the right thing to do. In general, introducing Lena Lee was a big win for d.Grayman, an improvement over a lot of even what I've seen this series do, so congrats on that, and keep going. Well, have a great beginning of 2010, and I'll see you back here to go into the top 20 series of the second half of 2009. Farewell.